Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this narration of the web series The Survivor Becomes a Dungeon. If you are new to the series, there is a playlist listed in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 16. Unknown Point of View. I wake up at the start, my head now aching from the sudden impact against the wooden beam above me. Back! I managed to say quietly, massaging my forehead with a soft sigh. I had forgotten I crawled into a narrow attic of a garage to sleep the night away. Taking a few seconds to collect myself, I reach into my pack, taking a sip from my trusty canteen. I also take a moment to scarf down some dried meat before gathering my things. With my intentionally few things gathered, I scoot over to the hole that had led up into the garage attic and peeked down. From what I can tell, the sun is starting to rise, and the garage is pretty much empty. However, I do notice a stain coming from outside, like something crawled under the cracked open garage shutters and moved further to the house. With a sigh, I grabbed a wrench I had snagged the night before and hucked it down against the concrete floor, which caused it to clatter noisily. Ducking back away from the hole in the roof, I hear a snarling and clattering coming from within the house. The thumps of running feet sound out as one of the brainless come to track down the offending noise. Soon, it's in the garage, slowing down and taking measured steps. Its wheezing breath struggles to fill its lungs as its teeth chatter, snarl. Leaving my pack behind, I crawl forward into a kneading bowl by the hole down into the garage. With careful movements, I grab the edge of the hole and begin crawling out, moving slowly, as I rely on my upper body strength to lower myself down before dropping the rest of the way to the ground, almost silently. The zombie hasn't taken notice, still snarling as it slowly creeps forward, hunting for me in all the wrong places. Reaching down to my right thigh, I silently draw my trench knife, my fingers sliding into the knuckle guards with practiced ease as I close the distance of the zombie in a low, crouched stance. My body is nearly a blur as I lunge forward another 3 steps and swing up, plunging the blade in the back of the skull before twisting it and drawing back as the body crumpled in a heap. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding and sighed softly, looking around and using a filthy rag to wipe the gore off the blade before sheathing it. Going back over to the hole of the garage roof, I get a short running start before hopping up and grabbing the hole, but I only reach in and grab my pack before dropping down. I don't put it on just yet. Walking over to the garage shutters, I drop my pack as I kick it past them and step back. After a good seconds of nothing reacting, I drop to my stomach and crawl forward from under the shutters, now being greeted by the orange glow of the horizon. I take a deep breath of the crisp morning air before taking up my pack. Looking around to get my bearings, I spotted a set of smokestacks on the horizon, in the same area I spotted them yesterday. Hopefully, these folks are willing to cooperate. I say to nobody in particular. It's a bad habit that developed after so many scouting trips alone, but it helps me keep track of my thoughts. So screw it. Just like yesterday, I sling my pack back on and move forward, one foot after the other. But Maury, point of view. Yeah, hey boss, can you hear me? Huh? Oh jeez, I must have spaced out. Yeah, I can hear you, Jack. What's up? Honestly, it was a bit of a trip to think that one of my animals could talk. I can't help but wonder if the others can as well. If they can, why haven't they? And if they can't, why not? Sorry if I'm interrupting something, boss, but my crew and I just fished a little girl out of the river. While she's handling it well, she went really far away from the others, and she's got stubby legs, so, what I mean to say is, we're not making much progress. A little girl? Oh, shit. Good work, Jack. I don't know how you managed it, but you did great. I'll send Basti your way to help you get her back to the others. Well, what do you know? The very bird they offered to me turned around and saved one of theirs in return. I looked down at Basti, who lounged on the steps to my pedestal, while Ururu was out and about hunting and stretching his new muscles. Basti, I need you to go and meet up with Jack. He's currently escorting a little girl who apparently fell into the river. Make sure she gets home safe. Basti's ears perk at the mention of a little girl, feeling a sense of motherly concern as she doesn't even bother stretching before making her way through the door to my chamber. With her heading out, I decide to check on the cubs, as they seem to be napping as well. Where's the little black-furred cub? Org point of view. Org had a bit of a scary day, though thankfully she has Jackie with her. He's a magic birdie that saved her from the water, and now is helping her home. But right now, her feet are starting to hurt, so she's going to sit for a bit. Finding a lovely tree, she goes and sits at the base of it, enjoying the shade as she looks up to the clouds while imagining the shapes that they're making. "So, girlie, you're tired? I would be too if I had to walk everywhere." Jack commiserates with her, letting out a chirp of understanding as he flips off her shoulder and lands on the dirt. Orc smiles at Jackie as she reaches out and pats his head gently. "Hey now, girlie, watch the feathers. They're going to mess them up." He complains with mock annoyance, but doesn't move. You might be hungry and even thirsty now that I consider it." Looking around, he lets out a high-pitched whistle, and soon there's a rush of activity as the nearest 6 crew birds rush to answer the call. Even Ghibli responds as he clumsily lands on a branch. It seems he hasn't quite recovered from earlier. "Captain reporting in." The cacophony of chirps, tweets, and squawks sound out as they look attentively down at Jack. "All right, you lot. Time for you to do something for someone else. Bring me some juicy fruits for the girlie here, and be sure nothing poisonous," he ordered, and he looked among them. "Aye, Captain," the bird sounded out before flitting off in different directions. Giving a satisfied nod, he looks back towards Org and tweets cheerfully. "Here we go. Don't worry, girlie. You'll be just fine." Org nods, reaching out and patting Jackie's head feathers, eliciting another whistle sigh from him, but he just lets it happen. Before long, the birds return with all sorts of fruits that Org recognizes, and doesn't. She begins to eat, enjoying the treats as she quietly hums to herself. Soon after finishing up, her face and hands are all messy now as Jack expands a little more mana to manipulate some water magic carefully, letting her drink from the sphere. He manipulates before her and then washing her face and hands. "There you go, girlie. All better now?" Jack asks as he casually tosses the sphere of water away, letting it smack against a tree as it dissipates like a water balloon. Org nods eagerly, giving a confident smile as she gets to her feet. Jack flitted up onto her shoulder as she begins to walk again. Though she doesn't get far when she comes face to face with a giant cat. Looking at a deep ebony beast, she offers a smile as she reaches up and pats her head. "Cat," she says simply enough, before giggling cheerfully. Basti, for one, is taken back by the girl's reaction, but isn't unhappy about it as she gently headbutts the girl to show her affection. Though that's when Org squeals with delight as she spots the little black-furred cat leaving the big cat's shadow. He was in awe at all the new colors and smells, looking up and around before immediately blinding himself with the sun as he hissed to himself. However, he jumps when he hears a squeal and is suddenly scooped up, too stunned to even think about lashing out. "Kitty!" she gushed, picking up the cub that was about half her size with apparent ease. Jack looks over at Basti, who seemed surprised by her tag-along, and chuckles at her expense. "Looks like your cub got a drop on you," he teased mischievously, flitting away from Basti's half-hearted attempt to swipe at him before lying down. Looking over at Org, Jack speaks up. "All right, girlie, get on Basti here, and let's get you home." Org, for her part, was still hugging the stupefied cub, who had never been handled this way. Looking over at Jack, she grins cheerfully. "Okay, Jackie," she gushed, climbing up while still holding the cub, using one hand to grab Basti's back while the big cat stands and adjusts to having a rider. Though Basti couldn't help but smirk down at Jack upon hearing his nickname and chuffs in amusement. "Hey, I told her my name. It's not my fault she keeps getting it wrong," he chirped defensively as he flapped his wings to take flight. All the while, Basti followed after him at a careful pace. End of chapter. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrekahl, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon W.R.E, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.